When we think about genius, we usually picture high IQ scores, maybe some crazy complex math problems. But what if the rarest, most powerful form of intelligence is something else, something totally different? Today we're diving into what's called metacognitive IQ.
Right. Forget the equations for a second. Forget memorizing a ton of facts. What if the truest sign of genius is actually a skill that you can build yourself?
And that is metacognitive IQ. See, it's not about the information you have in your head, but about the operating system that's running the whole show. Okay, so what does that even mean? Thinking about your thinking. This is the core skill, the one thing that really sets a very small but very effective group of people apart from everyone else. So this is metacognition in action, and it's not a passive thing. If you've ever, say, caught yourself in a moment of anger and thought, hold on, what's really driving this feeling? Well, that's you flexing this exact mental muscle.
And that right there is the crucial difference. Most people are kind of just passengers, strapped into this chaotic machine of thoughts and emotions. Metacognition is about grabbing the controls and actually becoming the operator.
And here's exactly why this skill is so darn rare. It's uncomfortable. It really is. It forces you to confront your own biases, your own flawed logic, which basically means you have to check your ego at the door.
All right, so what does this kind of rare mind actually look like in practice? Let's break down some of the key signs.
The first big sign is something called cognitive detachment. So instead of being trapped inside the tornado of your own feelings, you can actually step outside and just observe it. You see the anger, you can analyze it, but you don't let it control you.
And it's that detachment, right? That's what gives you what we call cognitive patience. Instead of just reacting instantly, you have the ability to pause. You get to choose precision over speed, aiming for the right decision, not just the fast one.
Now, this patience, it leads to a totally different way of solving problems. It's a lot like a game of chess. And this isn't just anxious overthinking, by the way. It's strategic simulation. You're playing out all the scenarios, you're stress testing your own plans, and you're finding the clearest path forward before you even make a single move.
But here's the crazy part, the real paradox. This level of thinking often feels a lot like self-doubt. You're just constantly aware of the gaps in your own knowledge. And while that can feel a little unsettling, it's not a weakness. It's actually the foundation of real intellectual strength. And that leads to the real payoff. Instead of blaming other people or outside forces, you have the intellectual humility to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I got this wrong. You take accountability because you know it's the only way to actually fix the problem and move forward.
Okay, so how do you actually get better at this? Well, here's the twist. It's not about learning more stuff. It's about unlearning. It's about removing all the mental noise. It's the power of subtraction.
Let's count down the 2 biggest distractions you've got to get rid of. Coming in at number 2, the need to be understood by absolutely everyone. I mean, constantly seeking that external validation, it just creates mental clutter. The first step to clarity is just letting that go.
And the number 1 distraction to subtract from your life, the urge to prove yourself. The second you stop performing for that imaginary audience in your head, you can finally start to think clearly. And when you actually manage to subtract that noise, something really profound starts to happen. Your brain literally rewires itself. It stops chasing the chaotic high of social approval and starts rewarding the quiet, calm confidence of just being clear. Your mind finally feels like it's your own again.
So let's just reframe this for a second. What if all that stuff you call anxiety or overthinking, what if it's not a flaw at all? What if it's actually the sign of a mind that's operating on a much, much deeper level?
I mean, do any of these sound familiar to you? Replaying conversations in your head? Always questioning your first instincts? Needing some silence just to process everything? These aren't just quirks. They're the unconscious habits of a metacognitive mind, one that's digging for patterns underneath all the surface-level noise.
So, my point is, embrace it. That depth isn't a flaw. It's your superpower. Your thinking isn't just this thing that happens to you, it's a tool in your hands. So start sharpening it, refining it, and really mastering it every single day.
So I'll leave you with this thought. True genius, it's not measured by a test score. It's measured by the mastery of your own mind. So the real question is, are you the passenger or are you the operator?